So I just have a bunch of things kind of starred that I want to draw back out from our day. Abe, you were really clear that we need to know the needs and meet them as a pretty baseline starting point for leadership. And that feels worth saying, I don't know, 10 or 15 more times. And I also, another panelist, I don't know if David's still here, but said something that caused me to think that hope without honesty is delusion. So I'll be thinking about that for a while. So find your entry point. And something that somebody else said brought me to a riff on some of my own thoughts. Lazy plus impatient equals effective. And what I mean by that is I don't want to keep working so hard. I don't know anybody who's like, what'll be really fun is if I just kill myself trying to do this one thing. But I think we all have things we care enough about to be impatient. And so if we are lazy and impatient, we might be effective because we'll just get the job done and move on. And wouldn't that be nice? And what do we love enough that we are prepared to take responsibility for? And when we think about the challenges and obstacles to leadership, one of the things that we didn't really talk about today in nice, polite society, but I would love to encourage each of us to go home and think about is, how am I an obstacle, right? How am I the problem? And how can I stop being the problem and start championing the solution? So those are just a few of my thoughts that I had over the course of the day, and thank you.
Thank you. So I definitely, I think with some of the questions that we had from the audience and then also the conversations during the roundtables, one of the themes that really I'm coming away with is around hope. And I think there's a few, I think this is true for, this is prescient for, or important, salient for a couple of reasons. One, I think leaders that are stepping into the leadership space, one of the things that is kind of predicated, or one of the things that stepping into leadership is predicated on, is having hope that you can actually change things, that you can actually have an impact. And one of the things I was hearing, especially from talking to young people, is like, reading between the lines, what I'm hearing is, how do you become a leader when it's so hard to have hope right now? And I think that that's a big challenge. And one of the things that I think we often kind of fall back on is and I appreciate the conversation around calling on our ancestors and looking at what folks have dealt with in the past. I think about Hannah Arendt, and I realize, we can look at times when there has been such inspirational leadership in the face of challenging situations, and situations that seem so hopeless. And we know that we're farther along now, but in some ways we're also still hopeless, right? We're still being challenged by these things. And through all of that, there's going to be ebbs and flows, but maintaining hope is so, so important to keep leaders motivated. Also for leaders to be able to motivate others, but to keep leaders motivated themselves, having hope is hard. And that's something that, from what I'm hearing in the conversations, is going to be different for every single person. The way that we cultivate hope, the way that we feel hope, the way that we believe in ourselves, and the way that we believe in the world, that the world will respond to the change that we try and make. And so that is something that is like a work in progress, but is such a key thing that I hope we all come away feeling at least confident that we've identified that as such an important thing that we can focus on. As a skill that leaders need to develop, you need to develop the ability to hope. And I think that's something that we need to give attention to. And then the last thing that I'll say is I noticed an interesting tension between emerging leaders and incumbent systems. So emerging leaders that are coming in and wanting to feel that hope, and then the systems that are governed by former emerging leaders that are now current leaders, right? And have been that have been shaped by these systems, and you become shaped by these systems. You become changed by them. And I think it's really important for emerging leaders to know that you have something really important to bring, and you can help that system, and that is one of your superpowers. The fact that you have not been touched by that system yet in a way that leads to becoming part of the problem, to put it in a vernacular term, that you have something to bring there. And I think also there's an opportunity for people who might have felt hope and might have been the emerging leaders and are now part of the system to always really over-index your thinking, or what might feel like over-indexing, on what you hear from the emerging leaders, right? Like really take that step to go out of your way to listen to folks that are coming up in your organization and are having a new perspective. There's a saying that someone said to me when I was much, much younger, but already running a company, and it was some of the best advice that I ever got, which is, there's no one that you can learn more from in your organization than your most recently hired employee. And that is because they haven't been affected by the status quo yet. And I think that's a really important thing for leaders in the incumbent system to think about. So I just wanted to leave us with that.
Yes. Connected to what you were just saying, in the round table with my students, a topic came up that I just wanted to share very briefly, which is for emerging leaders, the importance to challenge existing leadership and become a leader by challenging leadership and authority, and how leadership is not really something static, right? It's not like you either have it or you don't, or and once you have it, you will have it forever. You constantly have to renegotiate and learning came up a lot too. So I wanted to bring up the lead learner. That was something that stood out to me. And yeah, I'm gonna stop there. And then just one more thing, you had hope as a theme, and I'm gonna add solidarity. That was also in the little paragraph that I read. And a theme that I've been thinking about as the foundation of a leader's ability to motivate and unite. The commitment to building community through trust. I think trust is a big one in these challenging times where a lot of trust has been broken. And so solidarity as something that could possibly heal. And then recognition of shared responsibility. Solidarity is also going to be the theme for our Hannah Arendt Center conference next year. So I'll be thinking about this a lot over the next 12 months, but leadership and solidarity would be my topic, my takeaway. Thanks.
Is it on? Okay. Well, I wasn't expecting to be up here with you all, so I'm very honored to sit next to you all. And my topic this morning was leadership at the crossroads, right? And I saw a film recently, which you may also have seen. It's called One Battle After Another. And we could get into all kinds of discussions about that film. There are things that I like and don't like, but Paul Thomas Anderson's film, I think, touches on some ideas we have been discussing here, which is multi-generational sense of history, what it takes to change the world, how leadership looks in different moments, in different spaces, with different people. I think the film is a brilliant sort of investigation of different ways people try to act and what that looks like and what the limits are of that and some of the price we pay to step into those different kinds of roles. But the image I'll leave you with is this brilliant sequence toward the end of the film. It's a chase a scene where cars are going up and down these vertiginous hills. And the three plot lines are intersecting on this one stretch of road. And it's a chase, it's a following, it's a, who will walk out alive, who will be standing at the end of this kind of moment that brings these plots together. And it's a film that very clearly and resolutely shows both continuity and discontinuity across generations, and also this idea that whatever the battles are that one generation has been fighting, there has to be real recognition, love, and support for the next generation. And what that looks like can be surprising. There can be moments of grace and recognition, forgiveness, and continuity across those generations. So I will leave you with that image. If you haven't seen the film, go watch it and you will see the scene, and I hope know what I was talking about. I'm really honored to be here with this group. Thank you so much.